What we're doing today is a reading tag, but before we get into it, I want to show you the sweater that I'm wearing. It's covered in dog hair because my dog will not leave me alone, which is fine. Like, I love her, but here we are. Thriller season. We got some lovely holographic vinyl. I made this with the help of my children's grandma, and I love it. I've not been able to wear it quite yet, but the weather's perfect today. It's rainy, it's overcast, and it's cold. So yeah, after I do this, we're gonna get started reading for the day. So let's do it. What I'm doing today is the reading taste tag. I was tagged by Brittany from Rescues and Reads to do this tag, and I'm very, very excited. So I'm gonna get my phone and read off the questions and provide my answers so that you all can get to know me a little bit better. Describe your reading taste in one sentence. I would say that I am the type of reader who will read quite literally anything. I have preferences, of course, but give me a book and I will read it. That doesn't mean that I'll like it, but I will give it a try. So that's not very helpful, right? Let's go ahead and move forward to describe your reading taste with categories. And this is how I can get a little bit more specific. So obviously, if you're here and you know anything about me, you know that I am at heart a thriller girly. And that's fine. I like all kinds of thrillers. I also enjoy romance, which again, you've probably seen me talk about a couple of romances here and there on this channel. What you probably have not seen me talk about a lot is YA. And I do still read YA as someone who will turn 33 years old in November. I don't read a ton of it anymore, but I do still have a ton of it in my collection, and we're gonna sprinkle it in every now and then to break up the adult content that I do consume. So thrillers, romance, young adult, and a little bit of other stuff sprinkled in between. But those are like the big three around here. The third prompt in this tag is to showcase some books that would highlight or represent my reading taste. And so I've pulled 5 different books off of my shelf to showcase what I would define as my reading taste. Let's go ahead and I will showcase, YA. This is what I would say really got me into the young adult genre. And I have read almost every single book that this author has written, and I've enjoyed almost every single book that this author has written. So I'm gonna show you my special edition of City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. The Shadowhunter verse is, for me, what really solidified me as a YA reader, and from the Mortal Instruments series, I did branch out into reading like pretty much anything that's young adult. I love Adam Silvera. I love Becky Albertalli. I love so many YA authors, but really it boils down to the works of Cassandra Clare as to why I still read YA. And then we'll talk about some romance books. I have 2 very special romance books on my shelf that kind of showcase who I am as a romance reader. I do read some really messed up stuff that I find on Kindle Unlimited. But at the end of the day, I love a good cutesy and feel-good romance, and that's why I've got these 2 books, The Hating Game and The Dead Romantics. This one is a more recent read. My best friend recommended this to me, and she doesn't steer me wrong when it comes to romance reads. So this one, really fun. A woman is a ghostwriter for this one author. She gets a new editor. They do a little smoochy smooch, and then he gets hit by a car. And then at the same time as this is all happening, girl's dad dies, but she can talk to ghosts. So that's like, really fun. I don't feel like any of that is spoilery. I think that you can get all of that off of the back of this book. And then The Hating Game, I think a lot of people know The Hating Game. This one is one that I read on my own and then recommended to my best friend. It is kind of like enemies to lovers, workplace rivals. I just love this book. It has a very special place in my heart. I loved it. I love the movie. Yeah, this book's great. We know thrillers, but I will say that very specifically within the thriller genre, there can be all of these subcategories. And so I have 2 books that will showcase kind of subcategories of like thrillery books that I've read. And so we're gonna go first with like a paranormal type of thriller, and that is gonna be Simone St. James' The Broken Girls. I feel like a lot of Simone St. James books do have kind of a paranormal twist to them. This one was very good. I want to read so many more Simone St. James books because of this one, and I might need to reread this, to be truthful, because I just loved it so much. And then a more recent read that I've done that kind of breaks down into a subcategory of thrillers is in the vein of like gothic thrillers. So we have The Only One Left by Riley Sager. Very good. I cannot sing high enough praises of this book. One of my friends read it and she said it feels like there's a twist every 20 pages, and that's accurate. And that's accurate, I feel, for a lot of Riley Sager's work. I love him. I love this book. I love gothic-y thrillers. This is great. Question 4 is to show a book that you didn't enjoy, but it seemed like it would be your reading taste. And this one is very disappointing to me because for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason, I did not like this book. This is The Red Squirrels of Magic by Cassandra Clare. It's the Eldest Curses, book 1. This one follows Magnus. And if you know anything about the Shadowhunterverse, Magnus is the one consistent character across all of her book series. He is a warlock, so he is immortal. I did not like this book at all, and it was so disappointing to me. You can see I tabbed it up a lot, but it's one of the lowest rated books for me out of all of Cassie Clare's books. I didn't like it, and I didn't buy any more of the books in the series because I didn't like it. And I don't know if it's because she didn't write this book alone. I don't know if it's because I just wasn't in the right headspace to read it, but it felt like this book would be exactly my taste because Magnus is my favorite character and I already love Shadowhunter books. So why didn't I like this? Great question. I don't know. A book that you enjoyed that didn't seem like it would be your taste. And this one was surprising to me. I don't read a whole lot of horror, but Gallows Hill was one of the better books that I've read this year. And it is what I would consider to be a horror novel with a little bit of a paranormal twist. I love this book, and because of it, I want to read more of Darcy Coates. I have other videos talking more about this book because it's great. Next, we've got show us some books on your TBR that seem like they will be exactly your taste. And I only grabbed 3 books for this to kind of keep it concise. So we're gonna start with romance because it's what's on the top of the stack. We already know that my best friend recommends me the best cutesy romances. And so the other day I received a package in the mail from her, and it had some lovely skincare items. It had a really cute tote bag that I've been carrying to work for the last couple of weeks, and it also had a book. And what I've got is The 7-Year Slip, which is also by Ashley Poston. She did not tell me anything about this book. She said, I read it and I know that you're at the bookstore right now. Do not buy it. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was thinking, you know, maybe she didn't like it. Maybe she's advising me against it. And then she said, good things happen to those who wait. And I was like, oh, okay, so she bought it for me. That's why she doesn't want me to buy it for myself. This one's on my TBR. It's on my pretty immediate TBR. Probably in December I'll get to this because we're in the midst of spooky season right now. I don't want to read too much about what this is about because I don't like to do that. So The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston is on my TBR for romance. And then for YA, I tend to lean more toward young adult thrillers, and this one seems like it might fall into the mystery thriller category, and that is Suicide Notes from Beautiful Girls by Lynn Weingarten. They say Delia burned herself to death in her stepfather's shed. They say it was suicide, but June doesn't believe it. So I don't, again, know too much about what this book is about, but it's been on my shelf for a very long time, and it is a YA book that I need to get to. And then, who would I be if not someone who buys a shitload of Book of the Month books and then doesn't read them? This one's newer. It's a September 23 selection, and it is about a woman who intentionally purchases a murder house to renovate and live in, and that is The Stranger Upstairs by Lisa M. Matlin. This one's small. I'm probably gonna read this very, very soon. Reading the inside of it, it sounds so nice, and I love the cover. Nice. Nice is not a word that I would use to describe this. What am I talking about? It sounds like it would fit my taste, and hopefully, you know, it's a gruesome book. Prompt 7 is a booktuber you watch who has similar tastes to you, and Brittany found me because we have similar tastes. I personally like to believe. She's probably the only person I watch who has similar tastes to me. I think that the only author that she has shown on her channel that I personally don't read is Colleen Hoover. We both read Karen Slaughter, we both read Riley Sager, we both read Simone St. James. We have pretty similar tastes. Everybody else that I watch on YouTube are romance girlies, which is really fun. I enjoy watching their content. I just don't always read that content. Yeah, this one's hard because for the longest time I was a silent watcher of people, and I just don't like to make my voice heard in the comments because it's hard. But let me go on my YouTube and see who's in my subscriptions and if they have similar tastes to me. I am subscribed to Ali Stevenson. I'm subscribed to Chandler, Jack in the Books, Heather McLary, Kalila D, a lot of commentary channels, Sunny Kim, Olivia Reads a Latte, Ellen Catherine, that's Brittany at Rescues and Reads, with Cindy, Becca in the Books, Jess from Jess Book Girl TV. Yeah, but like a lot of these individuals, I feel like I watch them because I like their content, not necessarily because I think that we have similar tastes in reading, if that makes sense. So yeah, that one's hard for me. I'm so sorry. It's very hard. And then the last like true question is, have you always had this taste in books, or has your taste like changed over time? I have always loved spooky stuff because I'm thinking back to like my childhood, and I read a lot of Goosebumps. I read a lot of The Adventures of the Bailey School Kids. I read Harry Potter. Harry Potter's not really spooky, but it's fantasy in my opinion. And I would say that I've evolved into enjoying like a vast variety of content, because when I was reading growing up, I was like, no, I only want to read fantasy. No, I only want to read a series of unfortunate events. No, I only want to read this. But I think that I've evolved. I enjoy a wider variety of content, and I enjoy reading incredibly messed up stuff these days. And I don't think that I always enjoyed reading super dark and creepy and terrible thrillers. My taste in books has evolved over time, and it will probably continue to evolve. Who knows, maybe one day I just won't want to read, you know, horrible messed up things anymore, and I will only read romance, or I will only read cutesy content. I don't know what my taste will evolve into, but I think that my taste is constantly evolving. Anyway, that's the last question. I am now supposed to tag people, and so I would like to tag Moonlight Amethyst and Jess Book Girl TV to do this tag, and that's it for me. I will see you all next week. I love to talk to you guys down in the comments, so let me know if you have any cutesy tootsy romances that I should read, because that's what I'm looking for, because what I've been reading right now for romance is debauchery basically. So please, cutesy romances, please leave your recommendations for me. That's what I need. Please leave something in the comments below for me, and I will see you all next week. Goodbye.